Bring the coffee now. His voice cracked like a whip, cutting across the room. I set the cup down carefully, deliberately. Now sit in the back. He gestured dismissively. My hands itched to comply, but I didn't. I stepped up to the podium instead. Sit down, he barked, veins taut with anger. I tapped the microphone. I'd like to call this shareholder meeting to order. Item 1. Removing the board member who believes the majority shareholder is an intern. The room went silent. Eyes flicked between him and me. He opened his mouth, but nothing came out. Every second of this had been rehearsed in my mind, and now it felt like a storm in slow motion finally breaking. I remember the first time I met him. Charismatic, magnetic, the kind of man who made everyone feel simultaneously small and special. We worked side by side, laughed together, built plans. I trusted him. I admired him. There were dinners, late-night discussions, strategies we dreamed up in tandem. I believed in us until I didn't. The first sign of betrayal was subtle. A diverted call here. A sudden wall of secrecy there. Minor lies, easy to overlook, but a pattern began to emerge. His business trips didn't add up. He underestimated me, never imagining that I was watching everything. I noticed the way he flinched at questions, how emails disappeared from my shared account, how the same excuses kept repeating. Then came the undeniable proof. A chain of messages exposing his plan to push me aside, to publicly humiliate me, to turn me into a footnote while he posed as the mastermind. Shock hit me like a cold wave, heartbreak trailing behind, but I didn't break. My pulse steadied, my mind sharpened. The betrayal was real, but so was the chance to respond. I began to plan, not out of blind rage, but with precision. Every move deliberate. Every ally quietly aligned. I scrutinized documents, double-checked contracts, verified every financial transaction. I discovered what unsettled him, what he relied on to keep his mask intact. His confidence made him sloppy. My confidence made me precise. I allowed him to believe I was still inexperienced, still just the intern. That illusion made the ending far more satisfying. First, financial pressure. I quietly gained the support of other key shareholders. Second, legal preparation. I made sure every shred of proof was airtight. Third, social strategy. I spoke softly to the right people, seeded uncertainty, and observed as his supporters began to waver. Each calculated step became a thread in a larger design with a single goal: his collapse. Today marked the finish. The air carried the scent of polished wood and unease. He looked from the shareholders back to me, anticipating obedience, anticipating fear. He received neither. I released a slow breath, my hands resting calmly on the podium. This was my platform. This was my time. I'd like to proceed to the vote, I said. The motion to remove a board member incapable of recognizing leadership when it stands in front of him. Whispers spread through the room. He stammered, thrown off balance. The veneer of arrogance fractured. He attempted to speak, to debate, to intimidate, but the space was no longer his. Heads nodded, documents were signed, authority shifted. With every passing second, he grasped what I had put in place. Every contract, every agreement, every quiet caution I had initiated had boxed him in. The betrayal he intended for me snapped back at him, sharper than any blade. When the final vote was cast, I stepped away from the podium, feeling the tension of every calculated move dissolve into pure satisfaction. He sank into his chair, shock etched across his face, and the silence that followed was louder than any applause could have been. I hadn't shouted, cried, or pleaded. I had allowed the system, the facts, and my careful strategy to do the speaking. Afterward, I moved through the office, the steady hum of fluorescent lights filling the emptiness left by his presence. There was no gloating, no smug victory pose, just a deep, quiet satisfaction. I had been patient. I had been shrewd. I had been relentless. He had misjudged me, and that error had been his undoing. I paused by the window, gazing at the city below. The lights shimmered in random patterns, indifferent yet striking. I reflected on the trust that had been shattered, the lessons carved from pain, and the empowerment I now carried. The betrayal had stung, yes, but the revenge was flawless, executed invisibly, only revealing itself in the final blow. I sipped the coffee I had ignored moments before, now cool, now mine. No one would ever mistake me for an intern again. No one would undervalue the quiet strength beneath a composed exterior. I had risen while he had crumbled. Not through brute force, but through patience, intellect, and precision. And as he left the room defeated, whispers of disbelief trailing behind him, I allowed myself one small private thought. Power doesn't seek acknowledgement. Demands it.